Where has outside support been most useful in helping your band improve as a team?
We couldn't be a band without outside support. To start with the most sort of clinical ways, we made a record. We've actually just finished it. It'll be, well, first we recorded it. We had to have an engineer record that, actually set up microphones, press record. Later we had a mixer because we had to mix the record. You mix all the elements. You decide what stays, what goes. For us, actually, the same person did both. He engineered, he mixed, he also produced, in the sense that not only was he doing actual work in terms of like the physical microphone setting up and record button pressing, but he was also helping us out. He was helping us with ideas we hadn't thought of. He was pushing us in directions we hadn't thought of, which results in great new stuff. And next week, we're going to master the record, and somebody else will master it. On the record, we had a lot of people come in to play parts that we envisioned: strings and horns, French horn, trumpet, trombone, saxophone, and then string quartet instrumentation, as well as a flute. And for that, we needed an arranger. So we have an arranger come in. He listens to the music we have, he thinks about it, and he writes parts that these instruments can play. And then he directs them during the recording. And he actually also physically writes out, although not physically, it's through a computer program now, but he writes out the charts that these musicians will play. So that's an arranger. There's so many people that contribute to a fully functioning band, as well as a final record, a recording. There's us in the band, but really there's a whole team behind us.
And you mentioned you're doing the mastering next week, and who's involved in that?
One mastering engineer does it. That's it, and it's usually done in one day. And he has a special studio, and it's basically polishing off, making sure the record sounds as perfect as possible. And it's the final version of what you'll hear. When you put on a CD and you hear 3 seconds behind a song, that was decided during mastering usually. That's when these cutoffs are called. A friend of mine, recording engineer, told me of this analogy, which is essentially that engineers and producers and mixers in a recording studio are like the dental assistants when you go to the dentist. They do most of the work. They clean your teeth. They look in and everything. And then at the very end, the dentist comes in, looks it over for 5 seconds, says you're fine, and leaves. And that's mastering. It's the final. It's very important, but it's very short. It's a very short final segment to a very long, involved process. Just making sure everything is just right.